Hi, I'm Angela Tran, founder of Everolving Skills, and I'm back with another update of my journey of building a small business. So I will get started. If you've watched my previous episodes, I'll explain it explains all the sprint process. And currently I'm in sprint 2 of my second project called Project Simplify. And in these sessions, I usually just share what my current sprint schedule is, demo my accomplishments, and next steps. So this is my second project timeline. I am currently in sprint 2, which makes me release any new material tomorrow. So you kind of see my schedule out here. I do like it because it ends right before the holidays. And this is my 2-week sprint schedule. You'll see on my current sprint 2, the final demo is today. So what I intended to do in this sprint was to simplify my business website, just because I had gotten quite a few feedback that people weren't sure what I'm selling and what I'm doing on the website. So it told me that it's feedback to let me know that I really need to clarify it. And then my original intent was to build out the mini course content that I had set up last sprint, but I didn't really get to it. So instead, I will share a self-management tool that I've been sharing with a couple clients that I have, just to share some of the content I've created. So first off, I gotta thank a friend for recommending me this book, Donald Miller's StoryBrand book. In fact, it's a really good book and it's a really good framework. Not only that, but he has a free mystorybrand.com tool that anybody can use for free, which is pretty cool. But essentially, it takes you through a framework of how to present a product and how to essentially market in the story. And I really like it just because I think it shifted my mindset a bit and helped me, at least gave me a blueprint to follow. So essentially what he describes is that your client is the hero of the story. That's the character you're trying to help, and they have a problem. And as a person that offers a service or product, we're the guide who gives them a plan and takes them through an action that results in either success or failure. So he has a whole book on this. He also has some free material out there that we can all get. So I share this just in case that this sounds interesting. So I did spend almost a day listening to the book and filling out the template just so I could reshape the way I was trying to market. I was looking for kind of clarity, what makes it more clear. So here is my redesigned website based on the framework. Oh, and not only that, to my pleasant surprise, someone had actually updated the framework and put it into a ChatGPT model. So they inputted Don Miller's framework and they shared it. So I was able to access that ChatGPT framework. And it was nice because as I said last time, I was struggling with finding a niche, and I still am. But it was fantastic in helping me find at least initial target market. So right now, my target market are mid-career professionals, and it's saying being the author of your own career. So really having a say in what you want to do. A lot of times, I think a lot of us will go through our careers thinking that we have to follow the path that's given in front of us instead of really creating the path that we want. So now, I did run this through the mentor that I have through SCORE. If you didn't know, SCORE provides small businesses a mentor, and they are a nationwide nonprofit for free. So they had signed me a mentor, actually from a company I used to work with. So he was a past leader of a company. So it was nice to be able to connect through that. And initial feedback he gave me, though it's clear at least what I'm selling, which is a 3-month coaching package. It's still, he says, for him, it lacks a little bit of personalization, which would make sense since I literally kind of put it through ChatGPT and said, here, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm trying to sell. And I'm trying to target mid-career. Fantastic. It literally gives me section by section. Of course, I still have to wordsmith it and kind of make it my own, but it gives me a really strong starting place. So check it out. Let me know what you think. I won't demo it here because now I'm still thinking about what my niche is. And so I'm still working through that. So it'll probably still change again, but I'm glad and happy that at least this time it's clear what I'm selling. And then I'll work on kind of tailoring it and personalizing a bit more in the next sprint. So like I said, I didn't get to finish building my mini course content on organization. However, I did build content on a self-management tool. So in the past episodes, I talk about my framework of 4 core what I call meta skills or transferable skills, one of which is self-management, which I describe as our ability to manage unproductive behaviors. So this framework is called what I call swap the lens. It is based off the cognitive triangle by Dr. Aaron Beck, which is used in cognitive behavioral therapy. And the benefits of this, so it's not my original content, but I thought I'd share it. I translated it into a slide just so I could explain it easier to any clients that I have and really coaching them through how to use it. So the benefits is that it is super easy to apply. It's also helpful in recognizing unhealthy thought patterns for us and really helping us transform negative thoughts into positive one. It also helps with managing emotions and helping us develop healthier habits. I would say of all the therapists and coaching I've received, almost all of them will take me back to this cognitive triangle, though they will call it different things and they'll draw it differently than a triangle. But this is a very common and useful tool that is used by many therapists and coaches. So when you use it, when you recognize an unwanted or unproductive behavior, so for example, if you're giving up on a goal you really wanted, or during some unproductive arguments. Now, what it will not help with, or usually will not, is it gives more focus to the current and the present moment. So if there are any underlying issues or past traumas or anything like that, it will probably not address the root cause of that, but it is highly effective for in the moment. So I will kind of talk about it. And I like this triangle. I've had other therapists describe it as kind of these inner circles, kind of have how your feelings drives your thoughts, or your thoughts drives your feelings and then drives your behaviors. I'm going to stick to the triangle because it really, you can tilt this triangle anyway, because even if I'm practicing this skill or this tool, it sometimes it's easier to recognize your feelings, sometimes it's easier to recognize your behavior, sometimes it's easier to recognize your thoughts. So when you're analyzing a situation, you can start in different kind of corners of this. So our thoughts is the perception of the situation. So for example, I might be thinking, oh, I'm not qualified to do this, I'm not qualified to be a coach, or I'm not qualified to, for this job. Or I can see it's like, or the flip side is to reframe or swap that lens to say, this would be a fantastic learning opportunity for me, and also to express and share the skills that I do have. So, you can tell by just switching the thought, even for me, as I'm saying it, it helps me feel relieved, right? Or seeing the opportunity as much more positive than thinking that I'm not qualified, having that thought instead. Now, usually our thoughts will drive how we feel. So if I had the thought that I'm not qualified, it'll probably lead to self-doubt and insecurity. But rather, if it was a learning opportunity, I'm excited and enthusiastic because personally I love learning. And I think most people genuinely enjoy learning as well. Now, it will drive our behaviors, these thoughts and feelings, and it's our response or action because of how we feel or how we see a certain situation. So it might be, so if it's a positive one, I'm going to lean into it, or I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to be here with you guys, versus when I'm thinking a negative thought, I might give up, right? Or I might come back with anger, or I might fight back, or just shut down. So to give kind of an example drawn out. So, the first thing, if you look at if the scenarios, I'm trying something new, just like this entrepreneurial journey, or for those of you who are trying anything new, a new job or anything, a new project, a new relationship, and you think, oh, I'm not able to do this. And sometimes, I start with a thought, you might feel a feeling of unhappiness or insecurity or self-doubt first. And then a common behavior might be to shut down, right? Or avoidance, or just running away. I'm not able to do this. Why am I trying to face this? I feel like a failure, right? A little bit of imposter syndrome going on. And we might not even move forward with that scenario or that situation. Versus I can flip my thinking, or you can flip your thinking to think that, oh, I'm here to learn. This is a fantastic opportunity. And that might bring on excitement and this feeling in the bottom right. And then my behavior will be more listen and engage, right? I'm gonna lean into that situation, as I said before, and really be excited about it and listening to it instead of shutting down. So these are some just thought patterns, and you can use this in any type of scenario. If you're able to recognize perhaps an unproductive, a less productive behavior, or unproductive behavior you don't want, or you don't understand, or this not in your stomach as why you feel a certain way, or a negative emotion, it might be able to pause, reflect on the situation, and see if you can break it down through this framework to help reframe or swap the lens to see that situation. So I'll also go over what I really like. One of the therapists I've had, she does these hand motions, and because she had told me that she does a lot of child's therapy, and hand motions really help with children, but I think it's also effective for adults. So she'll tell me that there's typically 5 stress responses that we default to. So freeze, fight, flight, faint, fawn. So those are the 5. I'll put it up here as a hand because I think it helps me at least remember there was 5. So in the first one, freeze is just becoming immobile, right? Just shutting down to avoid the situation. I typically will do this in an argument if I don't want to engage, because I'm not I'm not typically a combative person. So if someone comes at me, or, with aggression, for me, I will shut down, right? Just like anybody else. Or you don't, or you avoid, or you just, maybe you get tired. Maybe you don't want to move on. And of course, the second one is fight. This is doing aggression. I think it also, for me, it shows up in competitiveness. If I feel that I am less, or I am not enough, I tend to fight back with a bit of competition. I will be like, oh, I want to prove myself. And I'll be kind of aggressively trying to do more at work. Or sometimes a really negative behavior I don't like that I do is maybe end up saying some unpositive things about a colleague or a coworker. Like I said, I hope I share this a bit vulnerability that, we all might do that sometimes. And, I've recognized that over the years that that's not a productive behavior that I would like to, keep doing. So the third one is flight. So this is also very common when people want to run away and just give up, right? Throw in the towel. There's other colleagues I've talked or coached through my work that, they'll come to me and be like, I don't want to do this anymore, Angela. This is not how they think I'm incapable. They think I'm not, able to do this project. They look down on me. This is it. They can find somebody else. And I do this too, right? You're just fleeing the situation instead of really thinking through logically. Is that what is happening, right? Or are they simply giving feedback to improve the misunderstanding or something like that, right? Fourth one is faint, disassociating or numbing oneself to avoid pain or emotion. I think of this as sometimes when we maybe drink alcohol, right? We're trying to disassociate from the situation. We're trying to numb ourselves. How many of you have just ended the day when we're at work, a long day of work, with a glass of wine, right? It's just too much. And I just want to escape. I want to flee. I want to not feel anything anymore, right? Or just faint. And the last one, fawning, is excessive people pleasing or trying to appease others to avoid conflict. I am very guilty of this one. I tend to, when I feel that someone might not like me or think I have a perception, even though maybe that's not the situation, I will try to people please, right? These are the people, maybe I'll buy gifts, maybe I'll do something extra or work harder to make sure that they like me more. So I mean, these are all natural responses. Now, there are some times, of course, these are very, very useful. I don't want to say they are always unproductive, right? If we're being attacked, right, by a gunman or any type of scare, and the last resort, they actually teach you, to fight back, right? Not to just hide and freeze. So these responses are there to protect us. Now, when they become less productive, it's when it's not, and the response doesn't match the situation. So if I'm not being attacked by a gunman, or I'm not being, you know, confronted with, or I'm not being put in danger, really, it's good to recognize these types of behaviors in order to recognize some of our thought patterns and be able to see it in a different way so that we can better manage our emotions and behaviors to what we want to happen to achieve our goal. So this is something, it's constant practice. So it's not like you master this. It's one tool I'd like to put in my tool belt when I'm looking at a certain situation to help myself and help others kind of combat that, any negative behaviors that you may not want. So I'll talk about my next steps here. I will publish a new LinkedIn newsletter to just summarizing that what I've done. I also released my redesigned website. Appreciate if anybody has a chance to look at it. Give me some thoughts. Give me some feedback on what you think. I still will continue to work on a new version just because of the lack of the feedback I got about the lack of personalization. I think I still want to narrow down to a niche. I think I'm getting closer. I'm just working through what I think resonates with me the most. And I will try to get to that mini course content that I didn't get to. To be honest, just like the other, as time goes on, I do feel a bit lonelier. For 18 years of my career, I'm used to working in a team environment where as a team, we're there to achieve a common goal, whether I'm an individual contributor or as a lead, as a leader, whatever the case may be. That conversion, that change to just running a business on my own, honestly has been challenging. Because now I'm hitting that loneliness. And without that team motivation, I can feel myself not wanting to continue, right? Not wanting, really fleeing those 5 years. I almost want to quit this. And even in the walk that I had with my husband this morning, he said, you have to sit in the feeling and the emotion. I was like, I know, I have to go and understand why I'm feeling this way, because it not only affects, in this scenario, what I'm doing now, but also affects probably how I was in corporate as well. So that's what I'll be doing next. This is my sprint. I did not update this, but it should be sprint 3 schedule. It'll be in 2 weeks. So my next update will be, I think, the 2 weeks from the 17th, which should land me in October. That's all I have today. So thank you for listening in, and thank you for those that live. Feel free to leave a comment, subscribe. I will have a new newsletter article tomorrow.